Hello and welcome to Season 4, Episode 6 of the Barbarian Law YouTube channel. I'm Kareem Ashkur and welcome to a discussion about heliocentrism. This is a topic that we discussed in our last video, however we didn't have a chance to go in depth into it. So I really want to explain what is heliocentrism and its historical context. So heliocentrism is the idea that the Earth revolves around the sun in the solar system. However, that, while it makes sense to us, is a fairly new concept when you consider that it was maybe in the past 400 years, when you think about the whole lifespan of human civilization being at least 10,000 years, is such a very small amount of time. So before heliocentrism, we had something called geocentrism, which was the idea that everything revolved around the Earth. And if you think about that from a symbolic standpoint, thinking that everything revolves around you is very selfish, right? Thinking the world revolves around you is like just a selfish thought that, oh, everything like works around me. That's like being a solipsist. The solipsist is someone who believes that no one exists except for myself. Like the only thing that can be sure to exist is myself. So the first person to start to discover that this might not be true actually worked for the church, Copernicus. So Copernicus in 1543 was a church official, and he wrote this theory, and there was no issues with it. The church didn't really have any issues with that. But then Galileo, he actually proved it. He proved that the evidence that the earth is moving, right? So if you showed evidence the earth is moving, clearly not everything is revolving around the earth. So what happened is, imagine this, imagine you're Galileo, you drop truths, you're like, oh, I made this new scientific discovery, everyone should be so happy. And what happens? This guy got jailed for a house arrest, jailed for the rest of his life. This guy was on house seat for the rest of his life for like spitting facts. So the church was actually actively arresting people who contradicted the official state narrative. However, many years later, about 200 years later, the church allowed for heliocentrism to exist as a fact, not just a theory. So unfortunately, it was too late for Galileo to benefit from their changing their mind, or they changed their stance. God changed their mind. I don't know what it was. So next, in 1835, 13 years later, Copernicus and Galileo had their books removed from the prohibited list of books. So now we fast forward to the present day and how heliocentrism has evolved. And you go to fast forward to 2016 when the Cavs came back from down 3-1 against Golden State. So what did they do and how did they do it? If you remember correctly, LeBron and Kyrie were averaging 40 points a game for the rest of the series. So if you have two guys that are putting up 80 between them, you need 110 points to win. So between J.R. Smith, between who else was on that team? J.R., Iman Shumpert, role players. So those guys have to just come up with like 30, 40 points together. And you already know J.R. Smith's going to shoot those and make them. So you just need a couple role players. So what happened next? The Raptors won the championship in 2019, built around Kawhi Leonard as a heliocentric. So the team was revolving around Kawhi, even though, so Kawhi in that scenario is the sun. The different planets are like Van Vliet, Lowry, Norm Powell, all the guys who are getting their looks based off of the power of the sun, right? The power of the sun is enough. If you were able to harness the sun's energy for one day, you'd be able to power the earth for multiple years. So the problem with solar energy right now is it's expensive, the solar panels degrade, but in terms of renewable energy, the solar power is the best. So if you have a player like this, who are examples, Kawhi, LeBron, Kyrie, then you can build an offense around them. So now I want to fast forward to the Raptors' current team in 2025. Who is the person we're building the offense around? I would say right now it's Brandon Ingram. He's good. He can create his own shot. However, just his first year on the team. It's not really his place to dominate, take advantage of the ball, and tell everyone what to do. So what I saw yesterday in the Raptors game when we lost to Brooklyn, we scored 80 points, like 20 points a quarter. It was actually very embarrassing. So I think that what separates basketball from other sports like soccer is you have a personal matchup. Is whoever you're guarding is your matchup. So anyone who plays basketball with me knows, like, just in terms of, because you realize it's getting in terms of someone's head, you have to get in someone's head.